Alright, good morning everyone. I am up early this morning. Yesterday I did a video about just not befriending mean girls, and I talked about some situations I had at work. Today I have a lot going on, and sometimes, like yesterday, I was totally exhausted and I slept like a ton, was in bed just about all day. So today I have a pretty big to-do list before I go to work. And how do you manage your time when you feel like you have a million things to do? It doesn't make sense, and this is a paradox, but many times it's resting and taking the day off. So after yesterday, I feel very refreshed. I feel like I'm ready to get going again, and I've got my priorities. The only thing I did do yesterday was I put some stuff on my calendar and made a to-do list, knowing that I had to hit each thing today. So I have some laundry to do. I will be doing this morning. It snowed out last night, so it's pretty cold. Yesterday was, the perfect day to stay in bed. It was really cold out all day, extremely cold. So after that, while I do laundry, actually, I have studying to do for my work. I already passed a test. I've only been there like just over a week. I already passed the test. I already have had tons of compliments from many, many people. One of my coworkers is like, I've heard many good things about you, that you have been doing awesome. Although I did have a couple mean girls try to put me down. Most of the stuff I've been doing, I've had tons of compliments, even notes from customers. I have one in my phone of outstanding service they have had. So even though I did pass the test the other night, and it was a surprise test, my boss was like, oh, you'll have a whole nother week before you are tested. I'm like, oh, good, because, I didn't quite feel ready. And then in a meeting, he's like, actually, you're being tested tonight. And I'm like, what? You said a whole nother week. And he's like, oh, well, you know what? I surprise, this is the way it is here. Surprise, I'm going to surprise you with things and make sure basically you're on your feet. So I did do very well on my test when I didn't even feel ready at all. But I know myself, and I know how I am, and I know that if I feel like I need more time to get some things down, I need to take it. So I will be studying, even though I have passed the test. I will be studying more to push myself, because I know myself, and I know where my insecurities are. I know what I need to learn. And so I will be doing that. And then I have somebody coming over, and then I have to run to the library. I have books on hold, and I have a couple other things to do. So I have a pretty full day. And the way you want to, when you feel like you have a million things to do, the way you want to do things is you want to priority your list. Obviously, it's best to have, for me, I usually try to have a week with nothing on the books except my work right now. That's it. That's like my only agenda. And then I already know my priorities are, my walk with God. I watched The Chosen last night with my son. We were up late watching that. It used to be my marriage, but things are kind of falling apart there. And then it's just my kids, my family, and those are my main priorities. And then it's my finances, and then it's continuing to learn all the time. And these have always been my priorities all the way up. Once I had gotten saved, I knew that I needed to learn a lot about the Bible. I was not brought up in the church, so I knew I just had so much to learn, and I still do. But I had put most of my time when I stayed home with my kids into learning the Bible, into mothering, into my marriage, into women's studies and all that. So now the priorities are pretty much the same, except I have built on those priorities, and I'm in a different place. Like, obviously I have the fundamentals of the Bible down. and maybe a little bit more than that, but I still have to learn. And then I have things with my kids already down, but I still have to build on that, and that's a different season for me. This is mostly as my kids, as adults. And like one of my sons, he needed a hand last night, so I sent him something for some money because he needed a hand. And just being there for your kids all the time, always trying to be there and serve them. I had a pastor before tell me, you want to be, a very wise servant. And I think that's true. So trying to, be a servant. Jesus says, like we watched The Chosen last night, and John the Baptist was the greatest of all, who was born of a woman. But Jesus talked about those who are the least in the world are even greater. And the ones who are the greatest are the ones who serve. And when we talk about leadership is not always, it's not telling people what to do all the time. It's not the biggest example, the biggest, way, I guess, in leadership is, first of all, example, and then it's being a servant. And that was who Jesus was. He came, in the form of a human, and he was a total servant. So we want to be like that. So constantly serving your family. My other son brought me a rose for Valentine's Day. One of my sons brought me candy for Valentine's Day. And they see that example that I already, gave them for years, just always on Valentine's Day picking them up something or always thinking of them. And it's kind of coming back now even more, where they do take care of their mom. I have a son who, I'll give him like $5. He gives me a ride to work all the time because my car is still in the garage. My other son will also pick me up. They will make sure that they are looking after me. So make sure you have your priorities. Make sure you are, I have work before I go to work. Make sure you are prioritizing your life very well. I don't really have any regrets in my life. I've been very, very good to people around me, especially my husband. I served him constantly, and I have no regrets with his decision to want to leave. He has made these decisions. He has chosen not to rise above situations. He's chosen to be pretty selfish, and that is his choice, and I respect it. And at this point, where it's been almost a year coming up in a couple months that I have moved over here, and he really hasn't put any effort forth, I've pretty much decided he hasn't made a commitment, and no commitment from a guy is really a commitment of it's all about them. They think they're totally in control of the relationship. They think that they are the ones making all the decisions. And when someone doesn't want to commit and they don't want to work things out and rise above any problem, then you just got to let them go. Just let them go. So that's where I'm at with that. And because marriage is a partnership, you can't just be the one holding everything together. And I did do more than 100% of my part. So when someone doesn't want to give back, just let it go. So that's what I got for now. I have been working on my marriage from a distance now, where before I used to work on it, very directly. I used to, make sure I had dinner on the table. I made sure at 5 o'clock, dinner was coming. I made sure I had a very orderly home. The kids had naps. Everything was pretty much organized so he could come home to a peaceful place. He worked hard all day. He had something on the table when he came home. And I worked very hard at being a wife. I did a 180 with my life, totally turned everything around. Usually would encourage him, but yet also confront things, which I did need to confront quite a bit with his family. But anyways, then you can when you're left, you can just kind of work at your marriage from a distance and, pray about it. Ask God what He wants. When a man has been abusive to you and has left you and abandoned you, you really don't owe him anything after that. So I am moving forward in my priorities, and I continue, like I said, to serve my family and now to take care of myself. And so that's what you need to do, ladies. Just constantly be productive. Yesterday was a day that I did take off to rest. I felt like I wanted to be a little more productive, but it was actually better for me to sleep and rest throughout the day. And I've never done that in my life. I've never just stayed in bed like for the whole entire day just to rest. I mean, like if I've gotten really sick, I've hardly gotten sick in my life. But if I did have those few days growing up or being sick, like I would be in bed, but not long. I don't really remember staying in bed long much, except of course, a few times after having my babies with a home birth, I did stay in bed. After my first one, I did not. I like after I had him, I was like ready to go. All I did was, once we brought him home that night, was just enjoy him. Stayed up with him all night. But after like my fourth one, I did take time to stay in bed for a couple days and enjoy him. But I really tend to be someone who likes to be really productive and not waste time. So that's what I got for you, ladies. Be productive all your life, and when you come to be older, as I am, you will really not have any regrets. You'll look back at the fruit of your hands. You'll look back at all the work that you've done, all the investment you've done in yourself, and you'll be like, you know what, I've done a good job, I've worked hard, and I am pretty solid, as a person, and I am pretty happy with my life. So don't waste time, just be productive. Take your rest, enjoy your life, take breaks. I mean, I know every Sunday was like my day to take a break. I still have that in my life. It's implemented. Every Sunday is the day I kind of unwind a little bit more. But and I haven't really taken many vacations, not really at all, with my family. I took one to the Grand Canyon this year. But other than that, in traveling here and stopping at Niagara Falls, I really didn't take vacations. But I did pace myself during the day, which I think has made me have being more productive, because I did have those daily breaks of just, studying and being in the Word and making sure that I was taking care of myself every single day. A lot of self-care, and that will make a difference in the long run, years down the road. I don't really have any health problems except a breast cancer scare once. Other than that, I don't have any health problems. So that's what I got for you now, ladies. Stay productive.